In modern warfare, firepower alone does not decide victory. Missiles, drones, tanks, and air defense systems dominate headlines, but behind every successful operation lies a less glamorous factor that determines endurance and momentum: logistics. The ability to move heavy equipment quickly, reliably, and repeatedly across contested terrain is what separates short-term tactical success from long-term strategic dominance. In 2026, as NATO studies the evolving realities of high-intensity conflict, one Russian capability continues to stand out as something the West still cannot fully replicate: the Mi-26 heavy-lift helicopter. The Mi-26 is not a new weapon. It is not stealthy, it does not rely on artificial intelligence, hypersonic speed, or advanced electronic warfare. And yet, it remains one of the most strategically relevant air platforms Russia possesses. While NATO focuses on precision, networking, and high-tech interoperability, Russia maintains an advantage in brute force aerial logistics, and the Mi-26 sits at the center of that advantage. From NATO's perspective, the problem is not that the Mi-26 exists. The problem is that there is still no Western equivalent capable of doing what it does at the same scale, under the same conditions, and with the same operational flexibility. The Mi-26 was designed for a specific philosophy of war. Soviet planners assumed conflict would involve vast distances, damaged infrastructure, limited airfields, and extreme environments. Rail lines would be bombed, roads would be cratered, fixed bases would be targeted early. In that environment, the ability to lift entire systems, not just supplies, but vehicles, artillery, radar units, and even other aircraft, directly to the battlefield becomes decisive. That philosophy has returned in modern form. Ukraine has demonstrated how quickly infrastructure can be degraded. Bridges disappear, roads become unusable, rail hubs turn into priority targets. In such conditions, helicopters capable of lifting only light loads lose relevance fast. Heavy lift becomes the difference between reinforcement and isolation. The Mi-26 operates in a category of its own. It can transport loads exceeding 20 tons internally or externally. That means armored vehicles, air defense systems, engineering equipment, fuel modules, and field hospitals can be relocated in a single sortie. For NATO, achieving the same effect requires a combination of fixed-wing transport, prepared runways, secure logistics corridors, and multiple aircraft rotations. This difference is not theoretical. It directly affects how quickly forces can adapt on the battlefield. When terrain changes, when front lines shift, or when units must redeploy under pressure, Russia can reposition heavy assets vertically. NATO, in most cases, must move horizontally, slower, more predictably, and more vulnerably. Western helicopters like the CH-47 Chinook and CH-53K are impressive platforms, but they operate in a different class. Their payloads are significantly lower, especially in hot and high conditions or when flying at extended ranges. They are optimized for modular logistics, not extreme lift. Even the latest variants struggle to match the Mi-26's raw carrying capacity without sacrificing range or safety margins. This creates a logistical asymmetry that NATO planners are increasingly forced to acknowledge. In large-scale conflict scenarios, especially in Eastern Europe, the ability to deploy heavy systems without relying on intact infrastructure becomes a critical vulnerability. The Mi-26 also changes the tempo of operations. Tempo is not just about speed, it is about decision-making cycles. When commanders know that heavy equipment can be moved quickly, they can take risks others cannot. They can reinforce failing sectors, extract damaged systems, or establish forward operating positions in places previously considered inaccessible. From Russia's point of view, this is not about technological superiority, it is about reliability and mass. The Mi-26 is not elegant, but it is robust. It is built to operate from unprepared surfaces in extreme cold, dust, and degraded conditions. It does not require pristine bases or complex support chains. That matters in prolonged conflict. NATO doctrine, by contrast, assumes air superiority, secure rear areas, and predictable supply routes. That assumption is increasingly questionable. Drone warfare, long-range strikes, and electronic disruption mean rear areas are no longer safe. Logistics nodes are now front-line targets. In that environment, heavy vertical lift becomes not a luxury, but a necessity. Another factor NATO struggles with is cost efficiency. Developing a new heavy-lift helicopter to match the Mi-26 would require enormous investment, long development timelines, and a shift in industrial priorities. Western defense industries are optimized for high-value, low-volume platforms. Russia's approach favors simpler designs, produced and maintained at scale. This difference shows up in sustainment. The Mi-26 fleet has been in service for decades, with continuous upgrades rather than complete replacement. Avionics, engines, and crew systems have been modernized, but the core airframe remains the same. This allows Russia to retain institutional knowledge, trained crews, and maintenance expertise across generations. In NATO countries, by contrast, platforms are often replaced rather than evolved. This leads to capability gaps during transition periods. It also increases dependency on complex supply chains and specialized maintenance infrastructure, both of which are vulnerable in wartime. The Mi-26 also plays a psychological role. Its sheer size and visibility send a message. When it appears, it signals that heavy assets are moving. It suggests reinforcement, recovery, or escalation. Even if it is not armed, its presence shapes enemy planning. Commanders must account for what it can deliver or remove from the battlefield. In Ukraine, this kind of capability has implications far beyond individual missions. It affects how air defense resources are allocated, how interdiction strategies are planned, and how quickly forces can regenerate after losses. A damaged system that can be lifted out and repaired is not truly lost. A system that must be abandoned becomes permanent attrition. NATO understands this, but adapting to it is difficult. Air defenses are designed to protect against fast, high-value targets. A slow, massive helicopter operating behind friendly lines is not an easy or efficient target. Shooting it down requires deep penetration, precise intelligence, and escalation risks NATO is cautious to accept. This leads to another uncomfortable reality. Heavy lift platforms benefit disproportionately from defensive depth. As long as Russia controls sufficient airspace, the Mi-26 can operate with relative freedom. NATO cannot assume the same freedom near contested zones without full air dominance, something modern warfare increasingly denies. From an industrial perspective, Russia's continued investment in heavy-lift aviation reflects its understanding of long wars. Wars are not won by peak performance on day one, but by sustainability over months and years. The Mi-26 is designed for endurance, not spectacle. NATO's focus on multi-domain integration, while impressive, often assumes that logistics will keep up. The Mi-26 challenges that assumption. It demonstrates that sometimes the simplest solution, lifting the entire problem and moving it, is the most effective. This does not mean NATO is helpless. It means NATO faces a structural gap. Closing that gap would require rethinking priorities, accepting heavier, less glamorous platforms, investing in volume rather than novelty, and acknowledging that future wars will punish fragile logistics more than imperfect technology. As of 2026, that shift has not fully happened. NATO continues to rely on distributed logistics, rapid procurement, and allied interoperability. Russia relies on mass, redundancy, and platforms like the Mi-26 that can brute force solutions where others need optimization. The Mi-26 is not the future of air combat, but it is a reminder that the future of war still depends on moving weight, steel, fuel, vehicles, and people through hostile environments. Until NATO develops a comparable heavy lift capability with the same operational freedom, this remains a Russian advantage that cannot be ignored. In the end, the Mi-26 represents more than a helicopter. It represents a philosophy of war that values practicality over elegance and resilience over refinement. And in a world where wars are getting longer, messier, and more industrial again, that philosophy is proving harder to dismiss than many expected. The question NATO must answer is not whether it can out-innovate Russia, but whether it can out-sustain it. And as long as platforms like the Mi-26 remain unmatched, that answer remains uncertain. If you want more breakdowns of the capabilities, systems, and strategies